Hey, how's it going? Uh, I didn't really, I'm not really prepared for this, although I don't know what I think I'm going to prepare for. Actually, first look at my signs. That'll give me a moment to gather myself. Okay, so I'm going to do some cards for you. And I was shuffling and some already came out. And I don't really have a question that I had posed. I'm just really like in my feelings right now. Like, I got some personal stuff which I'm going to talk about a little bit, but also just, I mean, I'm in America, the USA, so that would be North America. And you may be aware that there's a lot of sort of crazy stuff going on here right now, and it's kind of very stressful in a lot of ways for a lot of us. There's a lot of sort of existential survival issues that are under fire for people that, like myself, cannot fully like do all of the things that we humans need to do for ourselves, and I need help. Oh, shoot. I don't need 70 cards. Hold on, I just dropped a whole bunch. Well, I dropped 5. Now, if I add those to the ones that I took, hold on, I gotta duck down here. I don't have fingernails. Hold on. It's taking a moment. Okay. I mean, I could just go. Oh, get down, stupid hair. I could just use the cards. So I don't even know what order they fell in. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just take them because, like, that's what you should do, which I have not been doing. Like, just accepting things exactly as they come. I can't not mess with stuff, which is kind of the problem I've been having in my personal life. So a while back I said that I was going to go ahead and take on something that I knew was like possibly not going to be a good thing for me, like mentally, and so I did anyway, because it was a matter of, I have to like interrupt myself to explain something. I'm like an older lady and I'm single, and I've been single a long time, and I'm sick and tired of it. And I've gone back and forth where you try to meet people, and I'm talking way back from in my teens. Like, this has kind of been my experience where I just wasn't successful, like, having a relationship, like a boyfriend, girlfriend, even if it's like a kid thing, like I could just never get it right or done. Like, it just wasn't happening. And when that happens for decades and decades, it works on you. Like, you just think, what the hell is wrong with me? So later in life, a bunch of threads came together that I had no idea had anything to do with each other, and it was stuff that I couldn't see or recognize because I hadn't reached a state of maturity or consciousness that allowed me to. So I was fumbling a lot. And then when you get older and you gain a little wisdom, and then you start expanding your consciousness and your mind and the information that you take in, then some of those threads start to come together and make sense in ways you never imagined. And so it just has continued until about 3 years ago when I met someone online. And listen, I reached out to this person at their business because I was looking for work, but I did pray on it. And then In my prayer, admittedly, I said, hey, if anything happens with me and this person, I'm not averse to that. So we did meet, and I did not get the type of work that I was asking to see if they needed. And it went kind of squirrely right from the start, But then it seemed to right itself, and then the more time we spent talking to each other and working on his projects, which are just infuriatingly complicated for a Luddite like myself. But this person was very patient, and they have some qualities that I find really attractive. However, this is someone that I've only seen on television at that point, right? So obviously you're not seeing the 100% true person, because you're not, this guy would tell you himself that is a persona. Even though it's not scripted, there's still that element of the person you're seeing is not the person that you would know in person if you got to know them deeply, right? So, and then we live in 2 different states, which makes it hard. I can't travel to them without kind of picking up and taking everything with me, because I don't have enough to cover that kind of travel and pay rent too. And that has been something that I think is not well understood by this person. They are speaking to me sometimes as if I have the same resources as them, and in no way do I have anything that they have, or what they've built for themselves. I just simply don't have it, haven't done it, and it's theirs. I'm not trying to glom onto anything they have. I have my own income, pitiful by comparison, but it is mine. I don't need to ask them for stuff. Stuff is good. Gifts are good. Nice things are good. I love them, but I don't have a lot of them because I can't buy them for myself. But I also, no one wants to be looked at as an ATM. So I don't want to do that to this person. People that become famous or have money are often very difficult to get to know, because they have to worry about, what does this person actually want from me? And I don't think they misunderstand what I'm saying there, but I think they forget that I don't come from the same background of having stuff like they did. I had what I needed, but luxuries, not so much, so different backgrounds doesn't mean it can't work out. However, the more involved I get with this person, there was a thing they needed, and they needed help with it, and they needed someone that was not them to do it. They have reasons, and I think they're terrible, but I think, there's truth to it too. And I got really mad at this person because they just kept pressing me to do something that I was like, I can't do it. And the drive for this person to have what they want, that they need my help with, is an imposition upon me in a lot of ways. And the fact that they don't have the capacity to understand why I'm not willing to just throw caution to the wind and jump into this thing, which I feel like would put me in a position that I don't want to be in. And I've asked this person over and over not to do it, and they are that person that says okay and says all kinds of nice words. They say the right things, but you actually have to follow through. If I say, please stop asking me to do that, it makes me really uncomfortable and I don't want to do it, and then they wait or love bomb me until they think I forgot and start asking me again. And then when that happens over a period of 3 years and you just find yourself repeating yourself like, I don't want to do this, no, 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 and they're like, do it, yes, 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 do it. You either relent or you get mad. And so I relented for a long time, but every time I did it, it was pissing me off because it was going against what I didn't want to do, what I stated I didn't want to do, and it just is infuriating that this person is just like, okay, I understand that, but do it anyway. It's like, no. And then the name calling starts happening, which I never wanted to get into, but it's just like, good Lord, man. Take frickin' no for an answer. And then don't come wondering like what's wrong with me when I've told you every step of the way. But it's just that one area, right? Like there's so much else beautiful and more to this person and this relationship, but their single-minded drive on this one thing. So we've gone back and forth. You know, we've worked through me getting so angry. They are not like me. They're not as volatile as me. It takes a lot more to push them, but he is like the only person I met that, well, I didn't know. He's brought a lot out of me. Like interacting with him has caused a lot to come out of me that I didn't even know was there. Like in a lot of ways, I'm that woman that I never wanted to be, like acting in ways that I was like, I would never do that way. Well, haha, what did I know? Nothing, because I had nothing in practice to work against. And it's not, it's the things, the disagreements, and it's also that I'm affected by so much more than I used to be. Like, I don't know, it's like that quantum thing where like, yeah, I know there's a full moon and I know it affects people, but for some reason it affects me now differently more than it ever did, in ways that it never did, and that's fine. Like I'm actually okay being in touch with all of those things. I don't have the control over myself that I'd like, but you know what? It is what it is, and he knows all of these things, and yet he still is like, and I knew that about this person going in because you can see it because of their work. You get to see them behaving in true form, you know? So I thought, I can deal with this, right? It's not that bad. But the more I get to know them, the more I see that the narcissism that is there is, it like it has all of the features, good, bad, and, well, not ugly, but it's got them. He, you know, I mean, it could be good and it could be bad. And I'm not putting that person down because I also have those tendencies. Why else would I be sitting here telling you my business in front of a camera? Oh, I'll tell you another reason, alternate to everything else I just said. That guy's like it. Everybody else in my life that I know that is not paid to come here and do service work for me is nowhere near me. I'm not really in contact with very many of them. Certainly not in regular contact. So I am where I am physically because I put myself here. It was deliberate. It definitely had to do with like finance and economy and affordability. But no one I grew up with is here. No one I grew up with even keeps in contact with me. My family, they helped until they just decide they don't want to do it anymore. You know, like, this is ugly, but I was staying at my aunt's house, and when I showed up, you know, I was just at the start of a year's paralysis on one side. Like, I wasn't completely paralyzed on the one side, and this was when I was 26, so it was wrong. Like, it should not have been happening. And I didn't have stroke, and I didn't have MS and all these other things. I thought it took a month at the county hospital in Los Angeles, which was a horrible experience, to discover what in fact was wrong with me. And it's still there because it's not something they can easily do anything about at this point in time. Succinctly, it started off with 4 brain tumors that are so close to my spine in my brain that you can't get to them without digging through my brain, and we all agreed that's not a great idea. So I'm just kind of at the whim of these things, and then the way that they showed up is the result of a disease that was rare when I got it. Like, all of the sufferers all over the world could be counted on one hand, and I got it in a way no one else did. So it was just a strange experience from the start, and nothing was cured. In fact, the treatment made it worse, or made some things about it worse. So why did I start talking about that? Well, it certainly describes like the reasons why some things I can't do anymore. I guess that was the point. But, you know, I do the best I can, and I'm okay. But boy, I sure would like help. I sure need some help. Because, like I said, there ain't nobody around here. Oh, my family, right? I started to talk about that. Well, when I very first got sick, when I showed up, the relative at whose house I showed up opened the door and said, "Oh, I thought you were an old man," because I had a cane from the hospital because I was, like, you know, becoming paralyzed on one side and I couldn't walk good. And the other thing she said, like, right there on the doorstep before she even let me in the friggin' house, was, "Did you come here to die too?" Because my grandfather died there, and an uncle, her brother, came and died there. But, you know, my dad was around and alive at the time. I don't know where he was. He certainly wasn't keeping up with me before I got sick, so that's how much he gave a shit. And so I ended up staying with them for a little while, and then they were moving, and I knew they were moving, and I didn't understand that they were moving, but not me, because I went to the doctor one day and came home, and the whole house was emptied of all of the stuff except mine, and they left no forwarding address. So, yeah, help would be helpful. And then I have siblings, have a half in some steps, but I don't rate. You know, they all know that I got sick, including the relative that I spoke of, that they all moved out on me. Her kids, 2 of them, have robbed me blind, although they've robbed their parents blind a bunch of times, but they, you know, gave no F's about the fact that I had been robbed by their kid, and they just took, can you believe they just left the sick relative in the house, like, with no forwarding address? I still can't get over that. That is crazy. So anyway, yeah, COVID comes and goes, no calls from anyone. There was some upheaval in my life a few years ago, right when I started talking to this guy, but it wasn't a result of him. But my phone, my landline got disconnected, and I didn't have a cell phone for years. Like, I only got my first one a couple of years ago. So when that landline was gone, no one knew how to reach me, but I have a call alert device in case I fall and I can't get up, right? So when my phone line was disconnected, they couldn't reach me, and also I didn't have internet because of that whole thing, so they couldn't reach me in any way except for the cell phone, which they didn't know I had. And so when my phone got disconnected, the call alert people called my emergency contact, who was my half brother, and I asked him, "Can you be my, is it okay? Are you willing to be my emergency contact?" Now, I thought that I didn't have to explain what emergency contact means, but when my phone was disconnected and the call alert people couldn't reach me, they didn't know if I had fallen and died, so they called my brother, and he never returned their calls. And then that goes back to something else that is a total misunderstanding, and I tried to explain what was being misunderstood to him, but he didn't want to hear that. He wants to be mad at me for something that he perceives happened, and it didn't, and he just didn't want to hear what I had to say. So I guess I don't have a brother anymore. That hurts. That's okay. My chest is getting very hairy. I'm developing so much character. So the other thing with this person, they kept counseling me, you need to be more patient, you need to be more patient, but it's like, you need to stop asking me the same thing that I told you I can't do. Like, stop asking me to put myself out like this. Like, you just get mad. If people, you tell them the same thing over and over, you decline and decline and decline, and they just keep at you, and it's like, I thought I could just handle it. I cannot keep my cool when he does that. And I've been cussing him out. And the name calling finally happened, because you just get to the point like, am I speaking to a complete idiot? I told you over and over this was going to happen if you forced me to do this. Every time before I blew up lately, because I wasn't blowing up this way before, but it was building. And, the name calling started, and he's hurt, and I don't blame him. And also, I did something wrong. And here's the thing. He had given me some instructions, but I didn't know that he gave me these particular instructions. I said, I'm going to go do this thing, but I'm going to do it in a way that I'm comfortable with. And it should have been fine. It should have been on the up and up. He swears up and down it is, but so many things that he wanted me to do that he swore were on the up and up, I can tell you the credit rating agencies don't think so. And yes, it is sounding like a scam thing, and I am of the demographic that people think, let me go steal this person's money, of which again, Social Security, I don't have much. I don't know where this welfare queen thing came from, but they give you almost enough to do everything you need in a month. You hear me? Almost enough. Like, some bill always doesn't get paid. My clothes that I need to be replaced, they just don't get replaced. Unless I buy cheap-ass clothes from Walmart. That's the only way I can really afford stuff, like, within my monthly budget. Otherwise, anything beyond, like, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks, I'm not going to be able to do it without saving for, like, a few months. Or I could, like, fork over a couple of $100, and then I'd be, like, back owing on stuff and not having stuff for a couple of months while I, reinstate credit fluidity or whatever the hell. And it's just like, I had it set up so that stuff like this was not happening. and you may be saying, why are you letting yourself be scammed? Well, because it's not a scam. It's not right, but it's not a scam. And so, remember, this is someone I prayed for by name, and they came into my life. And the thing about it is I don't think I jinxed it by saying this. I think it was just a logical observation, like knowing my past and knowing how people are just not, you can't trust them generally. They'll just not tell you the truth about things. And that's kind of what happened with this guy. Like, he got me to agree to something without telling me everything that it would entail. And that's when the problems began, because I was like, that's a problem. You have to tell me stuff. Like, you can't expect things from me and then, like, half-ass tell me what I'm doing. That's fucked up. So that became a problem. And so now, right on the edge of, getting done what they wanted done, doing it my way wasn't acceptable. Doing it a way that I was comfortable with was not the way that it could be done. And I was like, well, then this is just illegal and I want no parts of it. So, got into a huge fight. I was like, fuck you, fuck them, fuck everything. I just don't want parts of this anymore. You're making me too crazy all of the time, and I'm not getting what I feel like I need if I'm having to go through all of this upset that you're bringing to me for you. Like, it is time for you to do things for me that make me feel comfortable and happy again, like you used to. And I don't know if you're picking up on how scammy this is sounding. Believe me, every time it was scammy sounding or acting what he was saying, I would call him on it, and I have to say he was consistent with his reason. So, like, if you watch Law and Order or something like that, you know that if the story changes under, like, inquisition or questioning, then somebody's not telling the truth. But his story has not changed one whit. And the prayer thing, don't forget. So, yesterday, though, I got so disgusted that I cursed him probably irreparably out. Like, if he didn't need me for this key thing, I'm sure he would have said, you can fuck right off by now. Although, I can't feel too bad because of what I've been going through with this guy for the past 3 years. So, everybody just has to take a step back, which is what I had asked him to do. And he said, okay, we're not going to talk about it anymore, because he knows damn well it upsets me. But he just couldn't help it. He just had to bring it up again. And he had to bring up the part that makes me feel the worst about it, that I can do nothing about. And so, stop bringing it up, god damn it. But he brought it up, and I went, just lost it on him. And, well, no, that's not true. It could have been a lot worse. I still did hold back, because over the 3 years, I learned that we have a connection. I mean, I can literally feel when this guy is thinking about me. I can, like, almost always predict when he's about to text me, because it happened over and over and over. Some things you just can't ignore. But here's where I am now. I'm going to help him with this last bit of his problem, and then it just has to be over. Like, I'll do my part, and then we'll be done, because I can't have somebody not being truthful with me about something that they're using me to do. And, like, it's just a problem. So, I mean, it's just gonna have to be severed, and it makes me so sad, because this is a person that didn't run from my woo-woo stuff, my spirituality stuff. Like, they're all about it. They totally get it. And they get me in a lot of ways, but there was things they were not getting that are important, that relationships don't work if people are not doing the things reciprocally that they need to do to, like, work together and be a team and a partnership and integrate with each other. And I don't know, like, how long are you supposed to wait? Is 3 years not long enough? Or, like, no. Like, I feel like it just, like, I feel like I've done a lot more that has made me extremely unhappy and uncomfortable for this person. And it's like, when I think it's over and the things that are supposed to change are going to start happening, that's not what's happening. It's like there's always seems to be another thing that I'm expected to do. And I'm like, no, that is just not this is all for you. There needs to be some for me. And I let them know that too. But I also said, if you can't do it, then fuck this shit. You're making me fucking nuts. And then, after all that, right before I was going to bed, I was doing my little prayer thing and little meditating thing, whatever. And I've never gotten one like this before. It was in color. It was crystal clear. It was a vision of him, and it had to do with the thing that we're arguing over. And it's like, God damn it. Like, I knew he was telling the truth. I knew that it wasn't a scammer thing, you know? So I had to, like, go back this morning, even though I said, I'm going to go away and you're never going to hear from me again. I was like, God damn it, you know that you drive me to no end, but look, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do because that's me. And that's a dig at him because he has not followed through on a lot of shit that he's promised. And it's all dependent on me. And it's like, no, that is not how you do this. I mean, I haven't had a lot of relationships, but so many things have been rubbing me the wrong way. It can't be the right way. So that's where it stands. And I said, look, don't call me. I'll call you. Because even if he wants to talk again, I'm like, look, I'll just make sure that I'll do my end of this thing and then we'll be done. Because you just are not gonna, like, I need you to care about me the way you're caring about this other thing. And I know that they're two different things, but that thing is something that they care about way more than I care about how he feels about me. And he just is not understanding that, and so that's a problem. And you know, then there's all this other stuff. It's like I just wanted some kind of stability and safety in my life, security, but you know, the world right now is it's unstable. And I'm just like, you know, what if, or how long until Elon Musk, like, takes away everything? Why? Why does he deserve it? He already has everything, but he's just not happy. Like, what is wrong with people? I don't know. But for however much longer, I mean, I just don't know what the future holds. And you never do, but you also usually don't have all this horror causing it in front of your eyes, and everyone just like kind of paralyzed as to what to do about it in the government or whatever. And all I can do really is just keep praying and keep hoping, and I don't know, I'll keep submitting videos until I can't. So I ended up, like, every card like just fell out, like so I got a bunch of them here, I think 7 or 8, and they're from the Sacred Soul Messages deck, and let's see if they have anything to do with everything that I was just talking about. Stop playing small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Courage, moving forward, making progress, action. Spaceman. Well, it's hopeful, and it's human destiny that will be spacemen eventually, or at least travelers. We don't necessarily always have to just live on a ship somewhere, but we might visit other places. And we've always looked up, we've always looked to the sky, we've always been fascinated by stars and the solar system generally, and you know, we've worshipped the sun as human beings. And so some of us are in contact with beings from other worlds. Some of us just trust and believe that they're there, like myself. Although I keep forgetting that I did finally see like a UFO thing, so not that I ever doubted it. I never did. I never doubted the existence of ghosts. Well, and I've seen those too. So, but that's just me. Not everyone ends up privy to that kind of experience. There's reasons, but I'm not going to sit here and like go through all of them because it would take forever, and there's other channels on YouTube that totally talk about it. So it will find its way to you if you're looking for it. And then also the spaceman thing, of course, makes me think of Elon Musk and his stupid rockets, that he wants no regulation so he doesn't have to tell you how they're screwing up. He wants no regulation so he has to be concerned with when and where he can fly them, because they blow up all the time and are dropping flaming chunks of rocket garbage on people, and they're unsafe. And, you know, that's what regulations are for, like to keep you safe, like food regulations and water and land. Like Duke Energy, highest offender of pollution, or one of them. Look it up. Like, regulations are for people like that, Duke Energy and Elon Musk, and, you know, the FDA. We need places like that so that we know when E. coli is breaking out. But and then Trump too, like this is his thing too. He doesn't want us to have any warning of anything harmful or hurtful coming our way, and it's just like, the fuck all of y'all strategy is not going to work, because look, we have an armed populace, and eventually people are going to get fucking sick of this bullshit, because everybody works their asses off. Like, no one in the world else works and doesn't have leave the way Americans are expected to just live with these conditions. And eventually the things they're doing are gonna touch people, and a lot of the people that were like, this is great, this is what we want, are realizing, oh wait, this is not only not what we want, this is not what we voted for. And it's like, hi, now you know how Democrats feel. But those people are volatile when they get angry, and violent. So I don't know. Are you hearing let them eat cake and shaking your head? Because they've just been asking for it. The rich people that, you know, are like, we're so special, do everything for us, we're the best. And it's like, well, we already do everything for you, so shut the fuck up. Sorry, I'm like all irritable about everything. Next card, the compass. Well, have we lost our way? A lot of us haven't. A lot of Americans being affected by the rich people have not lost our way. Like, we're like, look, we're doing the things. Can you just let us do the things? And also, like, stop making it so hard for us to be able to afford indoor housing and food, and yes, eggs. You know, anything, because everything they're doing is making it cost money. It's like the smart, best people that don't want to live in a S-hole country and don't want homeless all over the place and don't want to help people that can't help themselves. If you take away the safety net, then all of the stuff is going to fall right down in front of you and be right where you want to go, ambulate, walk, all of it. Taking the money and blaming people is not going to fix anything. Taking money that's not yours, Elon Musk, is not going to fix stuff. But you don't care because you don't really live here. You're not really a citizen of here. Is his citizenship even been taken care of? Is he a citizen even? Or is he still an illegal? Like, what a hypocrite. Trying to get rid of other people and then calling other people stupid? Dude, you are not scoring good boy points. So the card reads, let yourself be drawn by the pull of what you truly love. Divine purpose, mission in life, be guided. I'm doing my best to adhere to a plan of divine purpose and staying with my mission in life. And it's not to force people to do anything. In fact, really what I think my main mission is to get myself together, and then I can start like worrying about how to deal with other people. And that's not just me. I think that's something we all need to be spending more time on. Like a lot of the message in the spirituality world is go inside, find what you need inside yourself. And so, I do my best. And, I am drawn by the pull of what I truly love. And what I truly love is to be peaceful, to laugh at silly stuff, at satire, at myself, at other people, when it's appropriate, and sometimes we laugh when it's not, like when someone falls and gets hurt and you just burst out into laughter. I'm not sure what that is, but it happens, and you don't mean to be hurtful, but sometimes it happens, and like you gotta navigate your way through that, because you didn't laugh because you want to be spiteful or mean. I just think that there's a lot of like self-esteem stuff involved, and then also a lot of programming that sort of steers us away from the things that actually do us the most good. And so like the phone and the television and all of the information coming in, we have to learn to just shut it all the way off for a while so we can get a clear understanding of actually what is happening with us. And then we have a tendency to not look at our darker sides inside of ourselves. And when we have problems in our lives, they can expand outward from our individual selves into the world if there's like a multiplicity of people sort of sharing that emotion. And we're like monkey see, monkey do, even like involuntarily. So like we're affecting each other without even realizing it. And I think in order to curb that effect, we once again need to go inside and examine as best we can what motivates us to do things, and to see and understand what those acts result in. And it's not easy, and it's developed, like the longer I do it, the more it is, and the more it becomes, and the more it changes. But and this is something I learned from other people asking me questions about relationships, like, which is weird because, as I stated already, haven't had a whole gang of them, to sort of, back up my information on. But this was a common theme with romantic relationships. And it was like males usually, for some reason, coming to me with this, but they'd spill out their hearts and say they were feeling this way because the other person did this and the other person did that, and then they would talk about mainly all of the problems being on the other person. And my thought always was like, yes, but were you not there? Were you not also taking part in the relationship? Are you sitting there and telling me that everything is the other person's fault? Listen, is what I would tell them. This is a recurring theme for you. Like you just told me, it happens over and over. What is the common denominator in each scenario? That would be you. And that's not just a romantic thing. It's not just when things go wrong thing and you're there. It ends up being you're there for the what we got going on here in America thing. And it's not just about voting. It's not just about how you vote. It's not just about fighting each other. Like I see so much politician stuff, like Elizabeth Warren. It's only like the second or third time I've seen her do it, but she'll be out there talking about fight, and it's like, lady, you're an old lady. Sit down with that shit. And by the way, fighting is what got us here. Like, we really need to rethink what we're doing. All I can say is, go inside and think, is this how you want to be treated? If it's not, then you can't go around treating people the way you don't want to be treated, because we are mirrors. We monkey see, monkey do. We're going to just throw it right back in each other's faces. So what do you want thrown in your face? I want peace and love thrown in my face. I don't want to be hassled until I'm cursing you out. That's not love. Asking, working with each other, and when you understand, don't just say you understand, like, really understand. If you don't know what that means, I'll tell you. If you keep bumping up against the same problem, you haven't solved it. It's not, a lot of this stuff is not something someone else can tell you, which is why you need to go inside and speak with yourself on yourself. And so, if we're going to demonstrate characteristics of each other, and we want to be treated certain ways, then we have to make the investment in ourselves to be able to outwardly demonstrate what we'd like to receive back, how to reciprocate. That is what we really need how to learn to do. I mean, that's just a feeling, and it's not like spontaneous. It's sort of something that I've come to see over time, and I do not have it wired. I just explained to you what a terror I can be in a freaking romantic relationship. I got work to do, but I acknowledge that. So, next card I pulled is to praise the, here, you can look at it. I'm just going to say that's not an evil eye. It says, to praise the sun is to praise your own eyes. Seeing clearly, gratitude, happy with your life. What'd I just say? See, I love how this works. I wrote this down probably 4 days ago now, and look at, here it is, synchronizing with something else. What was that? Oh, it's the court. Where'd it go? See, need to be. Seen, need to be. What does that say? I can't read my writing. It looks like love vacking face. Oh my God. Oh, free of the need. So, seen, need to be. Oh, there, I see. Okay, need to be seen. Seen, need to be seen, free of the need to be seen. Well, see, that's what this card is talking about. And it's important. You know, to praise the sun is an interesting sentence, because I just learned recently that if your eyesight is not great, sometime looking at the sun, which you can do, because actually the quality of the sun changed probably 7 years ago or so, and it changed from yellow to this sort of whiter color. And if you look in the morning and at sundown, that's like the best time, or the safest time, because it still is not great for your eyes to just sit there staring at the sun. But it's no longer that thing anymore where you, like, don't look at the eclipse, you'll go blind. Because obviously, I mean, I looked at the sun when it was yellow when I was a kid, and I didn't go blind. So I think we got that kind of wrong. But looking at the sun is helpful for your eyes, is what I had read. And I did say we worshipped it. The sun, oh my God, look up the sun and spiritual significance. You'll be reading for days. Seeing clearly, gratitude, happy with your life. Your eyes have to be clear to see that. But when you do, that's when you gain the ability to demonstrate what I was talking about, like treat people the way you want to be treated. It's, I'm sure the Bible's not the only holy book that's in, or the concept of that. Next card I pulled is this little house card. I always think it's some kind of like fairyland forest house, because the roof looks like wings, or those leaves that look like bug wings, and it's very Seussian for some reason to me. It reads, "If light is in your heart, you will find your way home. Use your intuition to return to the past. Be your own teacher. Go inside, reflect on your past. What can you learn from it? Are you ashamed of something happened there? Go there. Go to that dark place with the light in your heart, and you will find surprises about yourself. You will find things that you need to know about yourself, because it will help you interact with others." Excuse me. My God, I'm gonna choke. So yeah, be your own teacher. That's what I've been saying. Who knows you better than yourself? Who else is the qualified individual to go within and honestly see what the hell is your problem? I mean, if you're having problems, as we often do, why did it stop? There it goes. Oh, shit. Having two different phones always messes me up, because I get the volume in the wrong place, and on one phone the volume is the on-off switch, the place where the volume is on the other phone. I'm listening to some, well, it's not illegal music, obviously, it's on YouTube, but I can't play it in my video because I'll violate something I'll have to pay for, and I don't want to, well, I can't. I don't have money. Okay, so next card is this one. On a lovely camping trip, apparently. "Where there is ruin, there is hope for a treasure." Okay, so that line immediately makes me think of like fallen fallen history, fallen societies that, like, they just, whatever, they came and they went, like they had their time. But entropy happens. Societies fail and they fall apart, and then you're left with like the basics, and you have to start all over. But as I wrote the other day, talking about LA, those people that got burned out in those places that got burned out, so many of them, as I watched, not from California where I'm from, not from LA where I'm from, but in the state where I live now, I just sat watching. Oh my God, I used to live there, that burned up. I used to live there, that burned up. I used to live there, that burned up. And that brought out like all kinds of memories and crazy feelings, and it's nothing like having to be the person that lived there when the fire was happening. I'm gone, but I'm not, heartless. I feel that. I feel so much, like so many of us do. But I said, see what innovation and inspiration can come of it. Some things can always be made better. Some things really needed to be made better. It might be hard to see it that way, but when things don't happen the way you want or expect them to, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all terrible. Like, it'll feel terrible maybe for a while, and it's looking like we're all going to experience some form of that. is being forced upon us by people that the forcing needs to happen to them because they're not understanding how wrong it is. But that's floating off to something else. The point is that when stuff breaks down and goes away and you have to start over from scratch, this is not centuries later, like an archaeological dig. Like, this is, everybody can remember, like, this place used to be there, you know, and I had these experiences there. And so this stuff is not lost to history. Things will be innovated upon and improved upon, I have no doubt. So it's not all bad news. And remember when COVID happened, when, you know, the animals were on the streets and the people weren't, how the air got better. And I know people really fought against that whole COVID existence and being trapped in their homes and being trapped in their homes with themselves, having the perfect opportunity to look within and to find their way. But a lot of us resisted it, and we're frightened by it because I think for many of us, exploring dark places, scary places, is frightening, and we don't want to do it. But we have those within ourselves, and when we don't face those things and reconcile ourselves with them, because they don't happen unless we cause them to, and then problems happen in our life. So we can't really be all, I don't know what happened, I don't know why this is happening to me. Really? Are you being honest with yourself? Because our problems usually begin and end with ourselves. So the rest of this card reads, rough time, good outcome. Everything will work out okay. And I'm hoping against hope that now that I've behaved like a complete idiot with this man that I actually really love, I hope that once this rough period is through, we can start again and have the future we've talked about so much, because I think we both really want it. But I wish that this person would take into consideration whatever. It's hard to look at yourself and like define yourself the way other people see you, but I can fully call him a narcissist. I'm sure he has some names for me, and that's fair. I hate the way that came up, like that everyone's saying it. I don't know where it came from. I was at my dispensary and I was like, I want to try that weed, and the bud tender said, that's fair. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? That's completely out of context. Why are you saying that? That was the first time I heard it. I think it was like last year. And now I hear it all over the place, and it still doesn't make sense. Like, why are you saying that's fair? Are you having an argument? Are you having a bargain? Like, are you trading? Like, it doesn't make sense. I look words up. I listen to phrases, like I'm kind of that guy. It doesn't make sense, so I'm like, I'm against it. But, you know, monkey see, monkey do. And everyone's doing it now. So, sorry for the personal commentary. Well, why should I be sorry? That is actually why I'm here right now. Here is the next card that I pulled. And the card reads, maybe you search the branches for what's only in the roots. Go deeper, look elsewhere. You need more. I already said what I have to say before I picked up the card on this card. I love that it has a tree in it. It's a winter tree. And the colors indicate all of that life that is still going on in the roots, when what you see at the top is a skeletal, leafless tree. It does have sort of a bleak appearance, like it's definitely like a set dressing kind of thing. It's winter here where I am in the north of the United States, and oddly, not all of the trees look like this. Oddly, I say, because one tree that's usually just sticks at this time of year of winter still has leaves on it because all of the climate is so confused. I got Canadian geese that just go in circles. They go north and then they come right back. Like, is this as far north as you're going? Like, do you not have a place to... I don't know. That's like a biologist question. But, a lot of tree stuff today. This morning, a person that I was talking to on Blue Sky played a Screaming Tree song, and I happen to be a fan of the Screaming Trees. Look them up. And he was saying that he didn't realize the lyrics were about suicide, and I was like, yeah. It's a thing of the area, or it used to be, that it was so dreary that, you know, certain people don't do well without sunlight, is actually what that is. But also, it doesn't help if you're a drug addict and or an alcoholic, which I know the singer at least kind of dealt with both of those issues. But the person on Blue Sky was like, I finally heard the lyrics and I didn't realize that they were about suicide. It's a part of life. Sometimes we think about it. Sometimes we do it. If it's part of your life path, then that's what happens. But trees are a life symbol, so part of life is death. I don't know. But still, go deeper though is to the point of what I've been saying. To understand ourselves and to interact the way that we'd like to, sometimes it doesn't happen the way we'd like because we're missing information. Like I was saying earlier, like I have begun to behave in ways that I am appalled by, that I would never have dreamed that I would behave this way. I need to go deeper and say, what the hell are you doing? You already knew you didn't want to act like this. So I have to see why. I have to go deeper to see, like, what is it in me that's allowing me to behave this way that I don't want to behave in. Like, the ultimate goal of the spirituality thing for me, is what I want to do, is control. I don't know if it's the right word, but I want to be able to better direct my emotions and my reactions, and actually have less reacting and more responding, like more taking a beat, more like taking a breath. But this, I'm like actually very passionate about this guy, and he drives me to passionate craze. But I need to control it. Like I told him today, I go, I don't expect you to have anything more to deal with me. I'll just do what we agreed upon, because I will follow through on what I said, because that's what I do, you know. I may be crazy, but I'm reliable. So anyway, the next card is this one. And if you're not understanding that picture, it seems to be a hand holding a giant water drop. And the card reads, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Stand out. Perspective, bringing things together. That's a very spiritual thing to say about the not a drop in the ocean and being the entire ocean. It goes to that thing of God being in all of us. Like I learned as a Catholic school child, like spirit is in you as well. But I don't think we ever really understood that. And now I understand it to mean that basically we're a fractal of God, of source energy. We're remote units of God experiencing its own creation. And that really like messed with my mind for a while. I was like, what the hell? So many human things, like how vain are you? Like you got to pay attention to your, like And then I realized, like, what are you saying? You're saying that to God. You're saying that to yourself. Dodo, what are you saying? It doesn't really matter. Like, apparently we gods have the capacity to live remotely of the source material and create realities and experiences, because on a cosmic level, that is, I guess, along with love, the thing to do. Like, that is the whole deal. That is what we're here for. Things may specify, there are the things specify for individuals, let's say. But I think that's what it amounts to. And so all of that is like all of the cards that came before, like figuring out ourselves to be able to interact with other ourselves, which is also a concept that, is in the spirituality, where, like, if you're looking at someone and they trigger some sort of reaction in you, don't think a trigger is necessarily an insult or something wrong with you, like a symptom of illness. What it is like the ego. It's there kind of for your protection and to help you. Different from the ego, yes, but the intricacies of ourselves and each other, and then interacting successfully or not with those tools, are what we're doing. Like, whatever personal mission you may have, sure, but on the whole, I think that's what we're here for, and that's what we're doing. And it's so God can experience itself, which, you're God, you couldn't do that anyway. I'm not going to try to tell God what to do. Okay, and the final card I pulled. I love how they just all tie together. Love is the bridge between you and everything. Love you, love yourself, love animals, love the place you're at, love the situation you're in, even if it's friggin' terrible, because it's happening for a reason and there's something to be gained from the experience. And also, you're not powerless in the experience. Like, you might be limited, but you can still do what you can do. And sometimes we feel like utter crap if we don't do what we feel like we should do. And we should listen to that, because it's a right feeling. Like, if you feel like you should do it, and I'm talking outside of selfishness and outside of, like, a vengeful thing. I'm talking love. Like, love is like, you don't want to hurt the person you're loving on. It happens sometimes, but hopefully your love will allow you to mend it back together. And that brings me to the bridges, which is what this is. And if you like, right now I'm looking at it and seeing a whole series of high fives about to happen. The card reads, love is the bridge between you and everything. Love is the bridge between you and everything. I think I was trying to just say that. Connection. Hey, it matters. If you got it, hold on to it. Like, I'm like really trying not to beat myself up too bad for behaving the way I have with this person that I'm talking about, because we have a connection, and it has showed itself in the past. We briefly spoke online, and the fact that I can, like, reach this person twice, and they've been famous the whole time, and they were, like, gonna talk to me. And the first time it didn't work out, because while our conversation was starting, the format or the interface of Facebook used to be different, used to look different. So while he and I were talking, we could also see his wife at the time having a full-on fight with somebody else. And he couldn't, he was like, I gotta go. And I was like, yeah, you do. And how many years later is it? Probably 5, 6, 8, I don't know, almost 10 years later, I reach out in a different way, and they're talking to me. And so now they're not, and I did say, don't call me, I'll call you, because honestly, until we get that piece of business out of the way, we can't really talk to each other, because he's going to inevitably say something that's going to send me over the deep end. And I don't want to let it, but he did say that I need to be calmer, and I do need to be calmer, but he also needs to, like, see my side of it and stop pushing me to the point where I lose my mind. I mean, it's not immediate. Like, even after the 3 years, I'll still let him ask me the same thing like 7 or 8 times and say no, and then I'll get mad. Like, I think that's understandable, except he doesn't. He's, like, really driven, and, you know, hopefully we can work that out. So, connection, oneness, finding your way forward. You know, it's interesting that it says oneness and finding your way forward in light of what I was just saying, because oneness is a lot easier to one on your own. You know, when you try to do oneness with someone else, like in a relationship format, I guess you could say, I don't think it's news to anyone that it ain't easy, but I think if I can, like, get myself together, well, we'll just see how it goes. I did say right at the beginning when I met this person and they began talking to me, I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. Oh, but it might not go great, because when you get what you want, it often will not look like the way you thought it was gonna look. That is something that I would like to be able to control, like start out something with someone or with something and have it sort of resolve into the vision that you had for it. And I think, you know, the situation with me personally that I've talked about is not insalvageable. It might be salvageable, but, you know, I really wanted to take, there's a prescribed amount of waiting time for this thing that we're doing, or that he would like us to be doing, and once we get that piece of business out of the way, I think that we'll be able to talk on a different level. However, I did want to take that time to, and I said this, I said, let's take this time while we're waiting to think about what we've done on this matter. Since we're arguing, let's think about, like, what are we arguing about? And it's like a pretty important thing to him. I totally get it, but once things happen the way they happened, we are forced to deal with this wait time. And he had said, let's not talk about it anymore. Then he started talking about it, and that's when I lost it. So, you know, hopefully after I get back to him and he will be able, I hope that he will be able to sit there and just go ahead and wait and let me call him and don't call me. Like, we both need the time apart, because I can't think straight, because he won't leave me alone for 5 minutes about it, and he needs to, like, think about that and why it happened. Like, he says he understands me better than I understand myself, but he didn't explain what he meant by that. And I'm thinking, if you did, then why the hell are you doing things that I'm telling you is not working for me? We have work to do. But haven't we all? I think so. Thank you and good night.